Welcome to the Live Loving live stream with John Davis. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to the Live Loving live stream, the first one of 2024. I am so excited to be here with you. I had a great vacation away to Delaware and seeing my family. It was a wonderful time had by all. And I got to go visit my best friend Tim at his pizza shop, Louis Pizza. If you're ever in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, when that store is open, they're closed for the month of January. But if you go to that store in Rehoboth, you would just go to Main Street, Rehoboth, which is Rehoboth Avenue, and go to Louis Pizza and make sure you say hi to Tim for me. Let me say hello over to some people over here. Victoria, hello and welcome. First time, I'm so glad you came. Synchrony. Oh, Synchrony, great. What a great name. I love that. T. Lynn, welcome. Happy New Year to you all. It has been a great start to the year for me. I did take my vacation, which was desperately needed. I was doing the end of the year review, and I discovered I did over 600 private sessions last year. I've booked a total almost 1,000. During the year, I booked 1,000. I'm actually booked out until the end of September right now for private sessions. It was just a lot of stuff going on this past year, and I am just thrilled to do this work. For those of you who don't know, the private sessions to me are very impactful for not only the person I'm talking to, but for me as well. I learn a lot every day, and I have the greatest job in the world. I get to see people be empowered every day. And so to me, I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's been absolutely wonderful. And but hello, Nara, Gunhild. Hey, Gunhild, I haven't seen you on here for a while. Welcome. For those of you who don't know, our amazing person who handles the chat board and all that is Marcy Layton. Spirit made me do it. If you look over there, you'll see Spirit made me do it. She's the boss. She's the one over there. And please make sure you send her lots of love. Speaking of love, Marcy has just done a revamp of her channel and everything, and I think you all ought to jump over there. If you haven't signed on to her channel yet, go over there and subscribe. She's actually, about a few weeks ago, she did a love wave with several other YouTubers. She spearheaded that and created it, and that was kind of a jumping off for her channel now shifting into creating love into the world. And so make sure you jump over and you subscribe and get part of her ongoing love wave that's going all over the place. I'd also like to pimp her little, well, it's not little, her important membership group, because if a lot of people in this world are traveling spiritual journeys, we're all on our own spiritual path. Thank you, my mom, for telling me that. But it's often hard to find community. It's often hard to find a place where you can go and talk to people who might not believe the same as you, but are open to hearing different topics and different ideas. And that's what Marcy's membership group does. It's people who believe all different things, and they come together and they openly speak and they share their beliefs. And it's a beautiful, beautiful community. And so if you're looking for a community where you can talk about your spirituality without fear of judgment or harsh comment, Marcy's membership group is exactly the place I recommend to anybody. It's a great community. You don't even have to go out of your house. You can just turn on your camera and talk directly face to face with people. And every so often on a odd session here or there, I show up in there too, because I like that group. It's Evans. Oh, hey, Evans, how are you? Good to see you. There's Evans. If you guys look at Evans's picture and realize I'm the before picture, he's the after. So anyway, I wanted to talk tonight about, I have a little topic before we get into questions. And if you have questions, as Marcy said at the beginning of this chat board, please put all your questions or topics in all caps, because The chat board does move really quickly, and so I try to get as many as I can in the time that I have. So make sure you put all questions or topics in all caps. But I want to talk about something. I want to ask you a simple question. I want you to ask yourself this question. How is your spirituality working out for you? How is your spirituality working out for you? You know, I often have people come on who want to challenge my spirituality, and they're trying to push me into defending my beliefs. I never feel the need to defend my beliefs. My beliefs work very well for me. I laugh every day. I smile every day. I have people who love me and tell me they love me every day. I have a wonderful relationship with my son. Things are great in my life. Things are wonderful in my life. And my spirituality is the reason why things are so great in my life. Because I believe in loving everyone and that we're all part of the same life journey together. And what's so interesting and why I wanted to bring up this topic tonight is going home was a beautiful experience. But it was very interesting talking to a couple of family members who are very steeped in their Catholicism. And it was very interesting feeling their judgment for what I believed and what I talk about. And it was very interesting how their judgment was they were so bitter. And I kept thinking to myself, you know, they can't be happy, because if you're judging, you're not happy. And if you're judging someone else for their beliefs, it's because you're insecure in yours. You're choosing to have to be right. And having to be, the need to have to be right is literally the fear of not being loved. And I don't care what you believe. You know, it's your journey. Spirituality is a personal journey. But where I draw lines is when your personal journey starts to be unloving to others. And that's when I draw lines, and then I will speak up about it. I have recently had a couple videos go out recently about Doreen Virtue. And the reason I did those videos was not for clicks. Everybody thinks it was for clicks, but it wasn't. It's because my channel is 95% answering your questions, and people were asking about it. So I did videos on it. So, but it's my issue with Doreen is not Doreen's choice of becoming a born-again Christian and going down that route for herself. That's absolutely not. That's her choice. That's her journey. She's allowed to do that. And, you know, she's exploring her own personal journey. My issue with people like that, or when they try to use fear to sway others to their belief, and they try to harm others by making them fearful, because fear is harmful. And so I have an issue with the trying to scare others and harming others, because this guy said, love one another. And to me, that's the most important aspect of his teachings, is just be loving. You know, this YouTube channel is based on living a loving life. And this live stream is called the Live Loving live stream. It's about living into love and being the love. But to me, it really comes down to I just the example I just gave was my Catholics family members. But I've had the same from New Age people. I've had people come at me hard saying, you don't know what meditation is. It's not just what you do. That's not meditation, because they're so entrenched in their method, their technique, their modality. And methods, techniques, and modalities and all those things are of the mind of man trying to figure it out. What I've figured out for me personally is that when I release it all, I connect directly. It works for me. It has worked tremendously well for me. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, are you happy? Because that is the way to judge your own spirituality. If you're happy, if you're joyful, if you're living a life surrounded by people who you love, if you're looking at people in fear and anxiety around you, and you are the one bringing love to that situation, then your spirituality, in my opinion, is working for you. I don't care how you get there. But if you're the loving person, if you're the person delivering love, then your spirituality is working great. And for me, it's fascinating to see the people who want to argue with me about my beliefs about reincarnation, or my beliefs about meditation, or a big one that I get into all the time, almost every day, is my my belief about the word ego. Because in all of my studies, the word ego only means the awareness of yourself. There's no good or bad associated with it. And yet the word ego goes off into this egoic thing of yours and whatever. And to me, it's like you're attributing something to this because of your belief, not because of what the word was originally meant for or used as. So to me, it comes back to they can't be happy if they're so angry that I believe differently, or you believe differently. Unless you're harming someone, then we should be very very happy. Now, as we go into this next year, we're only 5 days in. As we go into this year, live a happy life, live a joyful life, live a loving life, and see and think of that as spiritual. Because if God is love and you're delivering love, then you're delivering God, and it literally is that simple. So anyway, I'm off of my soapbox now. I'm hopping over to see if we have any questions. Didn't look like I see any cap stuff show up yet. I said, hello, Teresa from Nashville, Tennessee. I actually directed the Tennessee Renaissance Festival for a brief time. I lived in Nashville while I did it too. So hello from Nashville. Hello, Sammy D. Moving down the list. Celtic Seer, welcome. Kim Jacobs. I love this, Kim. My spirituality makes me more aware of fear-driven control sources, and I can handle the situation better. Those fear-controlled are missing out on the love that is out there. And that's exactly it. When you see someone coming at you angry, frustrated, mad, or judging you for yours, the first question is that you should be asking yourself is, how can I make them feel better? No, your question is what are they afraid of? What's their fear? Because if they're mad, any negative emotion is coming from, there's a fear in there somewhere. And if you can figure out the fear and you can negate the fear, then what's going to happen is you're going to alleviate their fears and they're going to feel love. Because fear is the illusion of the absence of love. And when you can negate the fear, you show them that they don't have to be fearful, which is beautiful. Let's jump back over here. Love is my religion. Love it. Ziggy Marley. There you go. And, the Dalai Lama says, my religion is simple. My religion is kindness. And the Prophet Muhammad said, he who knows not kindness has no faith. So it's beautiful. Thank you, Bright Love. Let me put that one up. The first part, and I appreciate you liking the channel, but look at the being in the present moment has been a life changer. Being fearless is next. Now, here's the big key. When you are fearless and present, you have just found the two key elements of all transcendental experiences. If you become completely present and completely fearless, you are touching God. It really is that simple. Because God is always God, consciousness, yada yada, whatever you call it. No, my mom, God. So that's why I say God, because of my mom. But when you become present, moment, and fearless, you'll have out of bodies, you'll have all the experiences that you want. But all of them have those two key elements in there, being completely present and completely fearless. So and it is life changing when you discover that. Hello, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Just an average person. I'm just an average person too. So I appreciate your title. My son is going to be. Okay, Mary, this is a great one. My son is going to. Okay, so what you're looking at is a timeline that's ahead of you. And time comes to you, you don't go to it. So rather than saying he's going to be, flip that around, flip your script. I am joyfully watching my son receive perfect health. Yes, because we don't travel through time. Time travels through us. You will never get to the store next Thursday today. But today is the only day you can take an action. So that time is coming to you depending on what you believe in this moment. Believe your son is receiving perfect health in this moment, and help your son believe, because it's your son's faith that's going to heal him. And the more you can say, listen, we're gonna believe it into existence. I am joyfully receiving perfect health. I am happily, receiving that perfect health. And I've seen amazing healings of cancer for people who've taken their faith and believed it. And it does absolutely help if you pray for them as well. So let's take a minute here for Mary's son, and just let's all of us, since we all come from this from different ways, let's all give a moment of your way of delivering love to Mary's son. Let's do that here right now. So you do it your way, I'll do it in mine. Thank you, God, for the perfect health that Mary's son is receiving. Amen. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the goosebumps are rising on my arms all over. I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah. So something's going on there, and that's pretty cool. Okay. I'm moving on. I'm still catching flack from my Christian friends. And I noticed the quote there. It's important. Are they truly friends if they're giving you flack? I'm God's nickname. I'm getting really frustrated, right? So you're asking in God's name to be frustrated. But the thing is, when your Christian friends are giving you flack, they're doing it out of their fear, not yours. They're trying to sway you to their beliefs because they have to be right? And they're afraid that you're not believing as they do because they've chosen to believe that you're going to burn in hell if you don't believe as they do. So rather than get frustrated with them, just recognize that they're in fear. Just recognize that they're the ones in fear. That's theirs, not yours. That frustration you're feeling is the energy you're getting from them. You don't have to hold on to it. Let it go. So I am joyfully living a life, and I'm very happy in my life. People come to me all the time. I'm very lucky. I get a lot of messages saying how much people love my work and my videos and stuff. But I also get the occasional person calling me the Antichrist. And when that happens, I'm not invested in that because I know I'm not. Right? And I know that I'm happy, and I know for them to call somebody a name like that means that they're not happy. And what did I say earlier? Judge your spirituality by how happy you are in life. And if you do that, your life will change dramatically. Don't let their fears affect your life. Because if you do let their fears affect your life, you're living their life and not your own. Will I still be doing bi-weekly live streams as your audience? Well, that's the beautiful thing about live streams. It doesn't matter how many people show up. It only matters that that I'm doing them, right? So I love doing them. I love talking one-on-one with people this way. To me, it's a great night. I actually get to the desk an hour before I even do one because I'm getting everything all set. So I have my drink and I have all my stuff and do my last-minute bathroom run and all those things to prepare for this. So yeah, I'm sure I will, and I am very appreciative of your belief that we're going to the tens of thousands. And I will say this: you just said the tens of thousands. We just crossed 18,000, and we're averaging 100 or more a day right now. So it is growing pretty quickly. And my hope is that growth that we see, and I know the growth is people resonating and finding love and finding the empowerment within themselves. People don't stick around if they're not getting something out of it. And to me, it's like people are coming and they're watching the videos and they're coming away empowered. People are telling me that things are changing in their lives because they're becoming empowered, which that's the goal we all should be striving for, is to empower each other. We should all be walking through life empowering everybody else around us because they're part of us too. I love this. My daughter manifested herself going to school, and they called her to see if she wanted to start in January. See, manifestations come through the path of least resistance. So the less resistance you have, or the less resistance you put into it, and sometimes it's like, well, I know that I can't get into next semester. Not having that resistance, I am going to school. It's going to come the way it's going to come. And so I appreciate you sharing that story. Thank you so much. Cynthia, I love this. I struggle sometimes, but as soon as I am writing this during the struggle, I need to exhale and center. I'm not perfect. Progress, not perfect. And let's put it this way: perfection is a subjective experience, right? I mean, just if you look at my physical person, I'm bald. I'm wearing glasses. I'm overweight, right? I think I'm perfect for me, right? Right. There are other people who judge me on those things, right? Perfection is a subjective idea, and we're all not going to be perfect, and we're all going to have our moments because that's why we're here, is to have those moments so that we can come back and find that centered peace and love within us. So I love that you, as you said this, you noticed that you were declaring that you're struggling, and declaring I am struggling is asking God, asking the universe for the experience of struggle. I am joyfully receiving, I am happily creating, I'm wonderfully exploring is very different from I am struggling. And I love the fact that you caught it. You also said you need to exhale and recenter. Exactly, exactly right. Perfect, perfect. Love that. Makes me so happy. How does one find excitement and joy when they may feel stuck in life or feel things, passions, goals are not moving along forward? Okay. Everything you just said is a subconscious belief. Everything you just said is because of your past experiences, right? And when you start saying, this is how life is, you're going to repeat the same over and over again. The people who change their lives are the ones who say, no, no, no. I am done with that. This is how life has been, but now I am doing this. And then they start creating thought, word, and deed towards the outcome. Your passions, goals, etc. are not moving forward because you believe you're not moving forward. And the thing is, that's not the way the universe works anyway. You don't move forward, it comes to you. So I am joyfully creating, I'm happily receiving. Now, sometimes we get so deep into our mires of our subconscious mind that we can't get there. You know, it's like the analogy I often use of the 1,500-pound man. Can't believe he's a thin man. But he can shift that to, I am receiving a healthier body. I am eating healthier food. I am walking 5 more steps. And just start putting those small things into place until he starts seeing the results of those beliefs and those actions. Once those beliefs and actions start showing small results, the faith grows. Once the faith grows, then the manifestation accelerates. Because now it's your faith that heals you. It's your faith that creates. Whatever you ask in God's name is granted if you have faith. This whole statement that you just said, Mackenzie, is a lack of faith statement. And if you can shift that to say, nope, I am this moment, the only moment that I have thought, word, and deed, the only moment that I am conscious and creating. The past is just a collection of present moment memories. Future is a place where I set goals, but here is the moment I create. And in this moment, I am creating perfect health into my life. Thank you, God. I am creating new opportunities to express my passions in the world, helping people in profound ways, abundantly, prosperously, surrounded by people I love who love me in return. You know, all the things that you want. You can start to act in that direction and believe in that direction. You'll start to see small changes, and those small changes will grow. And because trust is developed by results over time. And when you start to see the changes and acknowledge the changes, this is what I said earlier to somebody else, you have to acknowledge the small things coming in. It's important to acknowledge when you see something, because the more you acknowledge, oh, look at that happened, your faith grows instantly. Because you're now acknowledging that it is creating. I am happy. I am creating this. I am manifesting this. So the first thing you have to do is take the word how out of your vocabulary. Because the word how means it is not happening in this moment. Wanting, needing, hoping, trying, wishing, can't, and how. These are words that are non-creative, they declare lack, and they keep you in stagnation. How? That's silly, not doing that. I am joyfully creating. And when you step into that sort of space, your life will change dramatically. I hope that answers your question, Mackenzie. I love this. Okay. Sherlan, I believe that's the way you say your name, Sherlan. At 11 and 13 years old, it seems like a quote unquote haunting. I wouldn't call it a haunting. I would call it a child's interpretation of something they didn't understand. I believe when you're younger, especially, your veil is thinner anyway. I'm sure that there is some sort of consciousness from the oneness of God speaking to you, and in your mind it was, and in your experience, it was so uncertain and so weird and different that it was scary. So it was a haunting. Release the word haunting. There are no demons. There are no malevolent ghosts who are trying to harm you. It is, once they cross over, they're in the pure love. It's only fear. Only is the experience here. But the Buddha said the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. The Bible says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Comes back to that idea of releasing that fear, that anxiety. And the word haunting is a fear-based word. At 13 years old, you had an encounter with somebody who was trying to communicate with you, and you got scared. And then because of the fear, the veil got thicker and you couldn't get the full message. That's all that happened. And if you want to have an experience like that again, exhale, come back to that space that's always there, and say, I am open to hear all the beautiful messages from God, from the source, from love. But don't infuse fear into it, or you'll start to experience fearful things, because it's all about your personal belief. I hope that answers your question, Sherlan. Yeah, flip the script is a good one. I like that too, David. Chanda Pilgrim. Hey, Chanda. I haven't seen you in a while either. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for coming. And Chanda, I don't know if you know, when I closed that membership group, Marcy started it up again right below you in the chat board there. If you're still looking for a cool group to talk to about things, that's Marcy's group right there. I'm going to assume there's a typo in there. I love this. I love that the child's sitting here listening, because that's the children in our world are the future, right? And to see them change their ideas now is going to be how the world changes in the end. This is a great one. SS. I find it hard to stay in my joy and peace when it's challenging for me to love the person I live with unconditionally. I find it difficult to be kind to them always. Maybe I'm not being kind to myself. Let's talk about that for a second. Love and like are two different things. Love and like are two different things. You don't have to like what they do. You don't have to like who they are. Loving them is not about being a victim of someone's abuse, be it verbal or emotional, or even physical, right? It's the subject of saying that's their issue. That is love. To say they're acting this way out of their own fears and anxieties. They're acting this way out of their own arrested development. My father was that. My father was an arrested development person because his father was an alcoholic abuser, and my father, did that kind of stuff to me. So it was like, it wasn't, my father knew nothing better than what his father taught him. And when you're living with somebody who is in, and there are people that I know are in this live stream right now who know exactly what you're talking about, because I have some insight on some people in here. And it's true. You have to understand that person is sad. I had a woman who had a really bad relationship with her mother, and her mother came to her after she died as a beautiful 16-year-old girl, and she says, "I'm your mother," and she was. I didn't want to talk to her, so I said, "You have to understand, your mother came to you as a 16-year-old girl because that's when your mother got lost in fear when she was 16. Something happened at that age. That's when she was still her true, authentic self." And so you saw her as this beautiful 16-year-old girl because that's who she really is. The people who treat us poorly, they're people too. They're all part of God. They're all part of love. But they're lost in their fears and anxieties. And the more you let their fears and anxieties affect you, the more you're falling into their fear traps. You have to let go of the fears that others are instilling or pushing towards you, because you don't want to live their life. You want to live yours. And so the Buddha would call this releasing attachment. And when you release the attachment to what they say or what they do, and then you won't respond in negative ways. You just won't respond, or you'll go, okay, enjoy that, right? And what happens is, like my son, when he was being bullied in school, when he stopped giving the reaction, the bully stopped bullying him. And so, because you're not giving them it's a power play. They needle you, they pick at you, they come at you so that you'll react. When you don't, is when they stop doing it. So that's my my thought on that. Jumping over. Oh, Mary, you're so welcome. I know I'm a little bit behind. You guys are popping them up real quick. I love this. Being aware of what you're saying after the words "I am." Thank you. Thank you so much. It's true. And understanding sometimes the "I am" is implied, you know, saying, "I need a drink." That means you're "I am in need," right? Or so sometimes it's an implied "I am." And sometimes it's just a simple belief. Like I shouldn't do this because and there's the "I am," which is the nickname of God. I am. It's a contraction of God's name. So it really comes down to, being very aware of what you're believing about the present moment. And when you say "I am," you are declaring what you're believing about your present moment. Zelna, first of all, we will gladly put a prayer out for you, but it is your faith that heals you. You cannot fail if you don't believe you can fail. When you put faith in, give me the faith that I will not fail. No one can give you faith. You're the only one who can give you faith, and you have this, because you're showing right there in that statement there that prayer for faith will come to you. So you have faith that prayer works. So take this moment and say, I am joyfully receiving my perfect health. And exhale. And know that all of us here in this beautiful, loving session here are sending you that exact love as well. Here's the next thing I'll say to you, and I'm gonna kind of come at you from an interesting way. Liver, kidney, whenever those things are the ones that are suffering, almost always it's because people are holding things in, that love has somehow hurt them in some way, and they're afraid to let go and express their authentic self to the world. So the elimination organs tend to suffer, because that is the belief. We know those are elimination organs. We believe they're elimination organs. So when we hold stuff in, we believe the elimination organs are not letting stuff out, right? So you have to realize that you can be you fully. That's the way you find the perfect health. Be you fully. In the Gnostic text, they say it's your fear that creates all ailment. And that is so true. Buddha said the same thing. So let go of any fear. I am joyfully and happily receiving perfect health. So let's thank you, God, for the perfect health that Zelna is receiving. Amen. And everybody, you do it. Send your love that way as well. because that's the key to this. We can send you this loving, a positive attention, but you're the one who has to drink it in and accept it and believe it. And look, yes, the goosebumps rose again. So look at that, the hair standing up. I just wish it would stand up here. Moving on. Sammy D received his own son received healing from neck and throat cancer back in 20. Every day since his diagnosis, I affirmed it was healthy, whole, and complete. Sammy, that is beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Truth, Zona. In the absence of duality, I have no idea what that means. This duality is a new age concept that people are throwing around. It's all far simpler. You're one with God, period. There is, and maybe that's what you're talking about here, the absence of duality. But this idea of I am one with God and I'm just, my fears obscure my view, really. Is there any role for petitions, prayer? There is no role for any modality, technique, or any of those things unless you put faith in them. It's not the method, modality, or technique. It's the belief. It's the faith that does it. You can have instant healings, and I have been fortunate enough to witness instant healings. I've watched children stand up out of wheelchairs. I mean, I've seen that. I saw a woman's swelling go down in her face, right? On my own personal self, I healed spots in my lungs and came back from being told I'd never walk, right? So it really comes down to you saying, I believe. Because it doesn't matter. The repetition is just saying, please do this, please do this, please do this, please do this, please do this. Let's go back to what somebody said earlier about T-shirts. Negate and redirect. Choose what you're creating, and anything that comes up from your subconscious that's contrary, say nope and redirect back. But the repetitive action means nothing without belief. So that's really my take on it. And so just believe, and then anything that comes up contrary, negate and redirect. Tammy, hola, Mexico. Hello in Mexico. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming. I'm a recovering Catholic. It's about the rosary. What are my thoughts about the rosary? The rosary is just, there's a couple things about the rosary I'll talk about. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Right? That comes from a very messianic sort of thing. It comes from the very much the Catholic thing, because the Catholics are the one who leaned into Mother Mary. Mother Mary really wasn't much of a big story until the Catholics grabbed a hold of her story. And so the whole rosary thing is just to go back to what someone else just said above, the repetitive action, right? Now, you can pray it and believe it, but you have to believe it. If you believe it works, it's going to work. It doesn't, it's like when Joshua rubbed the mud on the guy's eyes. He never did that any other time, but he did it for the one guy who needed that tactile sensation to put faith in it. So you put faith in it, it'll work, right? But the rosary itself is just a Catholic dogma and a ritual. But it has, none of the rituals of any religion matter. It only matters what you believe. I hope that answers your question, Marcia. Oh, hello, T. Jones. This is a common theme for a lot of Christians of all denominations. A lot of things freaked them out. Well, those things that freaked you out were the fear-based things. And that's why I always say when you read the Bible, any Bible, because there's many, many versions of the Bible, and no, they don't all say the same thing. Whenever you read any of them, put your love goggles on and read the loving parts. Chitra, I love this. What we find in your message is an easy way of feeling our spirituality. In my regression, it said it's so simple we have a hard time comprehending it. And everything I've got 1,300 videos on my channel in 2 years, and all of them say it's simple. Every one of them says it's simple. And I have to be repetitive in that way because it's the way people they'll finally one day go, oh, it's simple, So thank you for saying that. Well, I think everyone's perfect for everyone. People in your life are there showing you an aspect of opportunity to show love. Anybody in your life is showing you an opportunity to show love. I love this bright love. There is no sin. The word sin means miss the mark. What is the mark they're missing? Loving. So there's no sin. It's just not loving yourself, loving others, not being in that perfect state of love. As I said earlier, in the Gnostic texts and in Buddhism, that fear is the root cause of ailment, right? But in the book of John, it says, perfect love drives out fear. So be perfect love and all ailment will abate. Exhale. Exhale, yes. Juliana, thank you. I adore you too. I'm trying to zip down to get through. You know what, Teresa, the exhale, we're going back to the exhale. My friend who suffered from anxiety attacks cured his anxiety attacks simply by doing the exhale. And it was lovely. He called me up just to thank me for that. Oh, thank you, Victoria. That's a lovely comment. And thank you for being open to listen to other people's points of views, because your journey is your journey, and when something resonates, that's what you lean towards. And I appreciate you saying such a kind thing. Abe. Okay, Abe, how are you? How are you? Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you had that it has changed, reframed your life, because it does. The more present you are, your life will massively change. Oh, beautiful, Tritarts. That's awesome. Once again, the exhale. I love this. I love this, that you're teaching your kiddos. Yeah. I used to tell my son on the way to school, are we having a rough day today or a great day today? And he'd say, have a great day today. And he'd go, have a great day. Because that's the belief he put into it. And so that's just lovely. Yesterday is where you were. Today you have an opportunity to create today and beyond. Just play with life as you were a child doing make-believe. And what does the Bible say? The Bible says you must become as a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. You must go back to that childlike wonder and awe, and spread that love in the world and see new people and get excited about them. I had a woman who was at a center out Western Ohio. I used to go speak in Metaphysical Center out there. And there was a woman who had, I believe she had Alzheimer's, but she was at a stage where she would sit there. And I think I've talked about this before. She would just sit there and she'd look around like she was in the room. She was very aware of what was going on in the room. And then every so often she would spot you and she'd go, right? And she couldn't speak, but she'd say hello. But seeing you was like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. Hello, And at one point I was doing, going behind every person in the room, and I was putting my hands on them and exhaling, and whatever words came in, just like I do in my private sessions. And the line that came out of her was, you wish you were where I am. You wish you were where I am. Because she was in such a beautiful place. And to me, that was life-changing for me to see this person in transition into the pure love. And then every so often seeing through the veil back into the physical world and seeing somebody and, being so excited to see them. It was lovely. It was lovely. Um, yeah, yeah. And here this is this is an ongoing. I can is not I am. I could is not I am. You know, I should is not I am. I often say don't should on yourself, right? It all comes back to that I am moment. And it does. It dramatically works every time. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Cynthia. Uh, Kathleen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tabalachi, what a great name. Six Flags. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Six Flags. I love the work I do. I truly I truly do love the work I do. Um, Can't wait to see me do a live from Rehoboth Beach. Yeah. People often ask me, John, you said you're manifesting moving. Well, I'm manifesting a slow move because my son's still in college in Ohio. So I am still shopping for houses. I'm still doing all the things. I'm still packing the house. But in my personal belief system, I'd like to transition to Rehoboth while maintaining a presence in Ohio for my son while he's in college. So that's why my manifestation is going slower this time because I'm choosing it to. Um, Oh, Cynthia, you are so welcome. For me the community is everything. Um, all my, like I said, 90% of my videos are answering people's questions on the channel or responding to comments on the channel, and the live stream here is a chance to do it, in real time, and so to me it's all about you. It's all about the audience. It's all about the people out there who are just on their own spiritual path and. I do this to show them a potential, an off ramp possibility, But it's always the person who has to take it. It's always the person who has to say, "Does this ring true to me? Does this resonate with my soul?" And if it doesn't, please don't take it. But if it does, great, But I don't expect you to believe anything I say. I just am hoping that what I deliver is giving you an opportunity to broaden your own perspective and make your path a little easier. So thank you so much for that kind words there. Ah, look at this, people. This is the product of faith here. I wasn't supposed to have children. Now I have two. I wasn't supposed to walk for 4 months normally, for 2 months, and I did it in one. So there you go. Your faith, your belief. I did it. And I love the fact that you, Bright Love, that you said, I did it. That acknowledgement will build your faith for the next time. And the next time might be something simple. Thank you, God, for the abundant income I'm receiving so that I can go to France. Well, whatever it is you want to do, right? But it's the acknowledgement. I've talked about this earlier today. That acknowledgement will build faith faster than anything else. Um, well, being skeptical is actually logical because you've been indoctrinated into a series of beliefs, and now you have to wonder what's true and what's not. The key really, Tritarch, is to realize that the truth is within you. It's not something outside of you. So when somebody says something, if it rings true to you, that's what you follow. If it doesn't ring true to you, it's not for you. Try things out. Manifestation to me is a really fancy way of saying creation. You create every day, and if you can create frustration just as easily as you can create a new job or perfect health. I often talk about finding the little Allen wrench for when I was going on vacation, and then I say it's so simple. It's as easy as manifesting traveling to 30 countries. because there's no size in the infinite. It's just a matter of what can you believe is coming into your experience now. And so it's a matter of start small. I had someone come on one time who was like, her biggest issue was financial lack. You know, she had a real issue with the value of money. And so she couldn't manifest because everything was about money. And I said, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to manifest something that has no monetary value. Figures out something that if you found it and you found it and you knew that that one thing would be the sign, then you can then work your way over to money or whatever else you want to create, right? But I wouldn't focus on the money at all. I'd focus on an abundant life and doing joyful things and loving things. And when you do what you love, the money comes anyway. And my whole life has been doing what I love, you know, sword fighting, comedy shows and stunt shows and speaking and metaphysical speaking. I've always made money doing those things. You know, I'm not a millionaire, but I've always had a roof over my head, and obviously I've always had food on my table. So, but it's a matter of realizing you're already creating, you're already manifesting. It's just a matter of changing the belief about what you're manifesting. And just remember, it always comes back to that one thing. What you believe about your present moment is what's coming into your life. Your wife is terrified, Mr. Wandering. Your wife is terrified because this one thing that has the two of you bonded, your religion, right, was a secure thing. Your wife is terrified of losing your love, right? Reassure your wife that no matter what you get into spiritually, you will always love her unconditionally. No matter what I get into, I'm so grateful to have you as a partner in my life. And as I explore my spirituality, there's never a time where I will not love you. I will always love you. Alleviate her fear, right? And the more you alleviate her fear, the less fearful she'll be, the less she'll be rebuking you, right? Because her fear is not the religion. Her fear is losing you. Her fear, because love is the thing that she wants in her life, period. And you show her that your love is unconditional, and she'll start to notice that her church's isn't. And that's a very interesting thing. So I hope that helps. Fear is the single most important issue to overcome. It seems to be most of our life. Love conquers all. I would say this a little differently, but I agree with you to most respects. I would say it this way, though. Fear is the only important issue you must overcome. It's the only important issue you must overcome because all of your lack, all of your anxiety, all come from fear. That's why I'm constantly saying exhale, because when you have fear, you're storing air in your lungs. The exhale releases the fear and brings you back to that baseline. Fear is the only thing, because there is only love and fear. And all fears lead back to the fear of not being loved in some form. So I agree with you, and yet I think it's more nuanced. I love this question because here's where we get into dogmas and all this stuff, because I don't even like to use the word meditation. I call it sitting in love, because I think it's going back to the love of God and the oneness of God. Do I work with angels or any other spiritual body? I go back to the oneness of God. For me, the angels and the angels come from ancient Judaic teachings, ancient Judaic dogmas. And they were picked up again later by the New Age dogmas. But there's nothing in the physical world, there's no ritual dogma that you need. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And even though there is individual consciousness within it, the sit and the sit satki, as they would say in Hinduism, but you find out very quickly that when you tap into another consciousness on the other side, they literally, it's not them tapping into you, it's you tapping into them because of your own fears and anxieties about your own oneness with God and your own divinity. But what they were all teaching is your oneness with God. So it's a very interesting experience because angels, spirit guides, all those things are really about your need and not theirs. And so it's when you come to your oneness with God, they all go away. And you come back to that space of just I am. And that is really the key. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope in no way was I trying to offend anybody's belief about that. I'm only speaking my truth, and the truth I'm speaking from is from my personal experience. And I have had the experience where I was told by an entity, an angel, that the only reason I had an angel in my life is because I had my own self-doubts and self-worths, and I needed that other figure because I didn't feel worthy of talking directly to the oneness of God. Hope that helps. I love that you brought out a Popeye quote for me. It's lovely. I am's what I am, so that's all that I am's, because I am's what I am's what I am's. Jumping down. I love this. When someone preys on your lack, loss, or negative beliefs, are they creating more of it? Only if you believe it, right? I don't believe in any of those things that someone, and if they're praying, are they praying for you to overcome lack, overcome loss, and overcome negative beliefs? Or are they praying for you to have lack, loss, or negative beliefs? There's their intention too. Some people like to keep people in their place. But if they're praying for you to get over your lack, your loss, or your negative beliefs, I go back to the Mother Teresa story. They asked her to go to the anti-war rally. She said, no, have a pro-peace rally and I'll come. You don't prey on limitations. You welcome in abundance. You welcome in health. You welcome in joy. You welcome in, because it's coming to you, right? Then the more you put focus on something in the present, the more you are bringing it into your existence. But if they're praying it for you, it only depends on what you believe. Doesn't matter what anybody else believes about you. Nobody has sway over your creation. Only you have the ability to believe. Oh, Mary, thank you so much. This is lovely. There's a reason why Christian churches have lost 54% of their congregations over the past 20 years. It's because people are waking up to what the God is love, and the churches are fearful. And when you look at this, you're finding, my intention is always to be loving. My intention is always to be caring. And sometimes being loving and caring can be harsh. It seems harsh. And you'll hear me sometimes say, I hope that didn't offend you or something. But I'm always coming from the place of your empowerment and loving the person I'm talking to. And I don't think churches do that because they're so trapped in the dogma. I told a story a long time ago about me. It's actually in my book. It's called it's not done yet. Don't jump out to buy it. It's called I Puked on the Altar. And I literally, as an young altar boy, I puked on the altar. And the priest didn't care. My brother, who was the reader, didn't care. But the lady in the front row cared. And when I look back at that story, I often say, God showed up that day, cared when that woman came to take care of that young boy. The rest of it, the priest not caring, my brother was not caring because they were so wrapped in the dogma and the ritual of the ceremony of the Mass that they couldn't see an opportunity to love right in front of them because they were trapped in the dogma. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you. Jumping down. We're going to start working towards an end of this, guys. So because I've been on for an hour and I've been loving every minute of it, but I have my Saturday and Sunday off this weekend, so I'm gonna go take it. The question, Tammy, is why would you summon these archangels? Because those are dogmatic beliefs from religion. There's no need for them. You have the ability to connect to the oneness of God. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The Father and I are one. Joshua was teaching you to be just like him, and he believed the Father and he were one. There's no need for a hierarchy. There's no need for a middleman. It's you and God as one. And so, yeah, it's a belief that you have to go to angels and archangels as opposed to going directly to the big guy, girl himself, right? Or herself or itself, right? Moving on. Here's something that might twist your noodle a little bit. Even chakras are dogmas. They're the mind of man creating a system to make sense of what they're experiencing. They aren't, for me personally, I don't think of them as my personal truth at all. New age dogmas, old age dogmas, dogmas in general, keep you on a path away from yourself. But as my regression said, when you seek a path is laid before you. But until you turn the path back to yourself, you'll never find the doorway. Hope that makes sense. Boy, I must be way behind here. I'm going to jump down. If you want to see the truth about Christianity, you have to kind of step back and look at it historically, look at it from interpretation. I am a big fan right now of Dan McClellan because he's a Mormon, but he never talks about his Mormonism on his channel. All he does is decipher the Bible. And what you find out very quickly is the Bible doesn't mean anything. Look what the Christian churches are teaching right now. Jumping down a little further. Congratulations, Tiny Linker. You will find when you're your authentic self, you will be rewarded because people, when you're living your authentic self, people will love you for you. And that's called unconditional love. So welcome. Congratulations to you on that. So action without belief. And I would flip that too, Fred. You said action without belief is merely an exercise in unknown directions. I would say belief without actions are simply daydreams. The Sausage King is back. I'm so glad somebody else got that. I said that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is be a consequence. I can tell you story after story of people that I have said, I can't be your friend anymore until you do something. And it's usually something very harmful to themselves. I had a guy who was a beautiful friend. I loved him. He was like a brother to me. And half the time he was a complete butthead. And then I found out that when he was a complete butthead, he was on cocaine. And I said to him, I said, Michael, I said, you have a lot to offer the world, but half of my experiences with you are negative. And I love myself enough not to put myself through that. So I'm not your friend until you're off of drugs. And he left. And then 20 years later, I got a message on Facebook. Can I talk to you? Sure. He says, I want to thank you because you gave me a consequence. You know, I lost your friendship, which I valued, over my drug use. He says, I left that day and I went back to Colorado. I put myself into rehab. I got out. I went back to school. I became a high school teacher, and I've been teaching high school ever since for 20 years. Being the consequence is what made him go off and do that. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is be the consequence. And so that, I hope that explains that response. Jumping down. Maria, I'm going to say this in passing. I have seen The Chosen. I couldn't continue to watch it. It's got far too much Mormon theology in it. It's written by and produced by the Mormons, and they're very much into their messianic things. There's a lot of things very interesting, but I can't watch it. I tried to watch it, but I can't watch it. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Nancy Meeker, thank you so much. I'm glad the word resonate to me means a lot to me, because that means something I'm saying feels right to you. And so that makes me very happy. And Rosalie, I agree with you. When it resonates for you, then otherwise let it go. Exactly right. And I believe that. Don't believe me or anybody else. Believe what you feel is resonating for you. Bright love. I am currently healing from the... I can't wait to shock those doctors. I am so grateful, Bright love, that you are receiving perfect health. In this very moment, I am so happy that you are... Hey, buddy, here you go. Receiving it again. Oh, there you go. Tonight's a goosebump night. I've never done this many goosebumps in my life. This is crazy. Why were the Essenes so violent if they kept and read all of these very peaceful texts? Because the Essenes were living underneath the power of a militaristic regime called the Romans, and they wanted their faith, because they were zealots, and zealots, people are going to argue with me about zealots being a different sect. The zealots were a different sect. I'm using the word zealot in the modern terminology, which is someone who is vehemently, fervently, and violently pushing their beliefs. And the Essenes were that. The first attack on Rome, first armed conflict with Rome, was led by John the Essene. And so they wanted Jeshua to become a king, and Jeshua turned it down. They wanted him... Why would he become a king? So he could raise an army to fight Rome, because they were trying to make their beliefs the law of the land. So I love that, switching the word manifestation to creation. I think the modern New Age has been marketing creation and under different terms for a while. Manifestation, law of attraction, healing, it's all creation. And so they're just marketing the aspects of creation under different terms. I'm jumping. Thank you, Chitra, warning me. I've gone past 9. I'm going to get out of here soon, but I saw Clark. Thank you for the super chat. Those super chats actually do keep a roof over my head, so I really do appreciate it. Love it. Super chats truly help. Same to you, Cynthia. My dear, I have a collection of my Sam's Club coffees in the freezer. I buy them and I freeze them so that they're always there and ready. Thank you so much, Clark. That's so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to have to start winding down here, folks. I'm going to jump to the bottom. Sorry if I missed your question tonight. You guys are so fast that I can't keep up with you. Thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. Thank you so much for coming back after the holiday. I hope it was a good and beautiful holiday for you. I'm looking forward to many more of these live streams. We'll do the next one in 2 weeks. We're going to do it every other week. Why do I do it bi-weekly? Because I want my Friday nights sometimes too. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are living loving lives. And remember, if your spirituality is working, you're living a happy life. So go live a happy life. And as Teresa just said in the comment section, and I just saw, goosebumps to all. Good night, everyone. You have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Hi, Katrina. You're a newbie? Well, I'm happy to have a newbie here, too. So you hopped in late. I'm going out. Have a good night, all. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us at the Live Loving live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and visit us at johnofnew.com.